Hey guys, my name is Zuri. In this video, I'm going to discuss my experience using 4 doses of Mounjaro. Over the course of a year, I started off at 2.5, I went to 5.0, went to 7.5, and then I went to 10. I'm going to walk you through my experience with all doses, my weight loss, my side effects, my weight loss stalls, and then I'm going to tell you ultimately what my thoughts are about dosing up. At several times throughout my journey, my weight loss completely stalled. So at each of those points, of course, I thought it was time for me to increase my dose. But what I know now is that the dosage was not the problem. It was me. I would not increase my doses like I did in the past. I was thinking that a higher dose would mean higher weight loss and that it would help me move past my stalls. But I was completely wrong. Here's a little bit about my journey. I started my weight loss journey in December. At the end of 2024, I was 198 pounds. I am over 50. I'm 5'2", and I just was completely miserable. So I decided to go to a weight loss clinic in my area, and the doctor there put me on a weight loss pill, Adipex. It was like a compound with Adipex and some other thing started with the N. I don't even know what it was. But I was able to lose 20 pounds. Woo! I was so excited about that. I went back to my regular doctor to kind of do some health checks. And at that point, even with me losing 20 pounds, my A1C continued to climb. So he said that we needed to really do something to treat the A1C. And he told me about Mounjaro. He said not only would that lower my A1C, but it would help me lose weight. And so, of course, your girl was all in. So he gave me 3 boxes of Mounjaro. One was 2.5, one was 5.0, and one was 7.5. He told me at the end of each month to increase the dosage. Month 1. Okay, so in month 1, I started off at 2.5. I was on that for 30 days. So my first week I was able to eat just like normal, but after a week, the food noise disappeared. The first week I lost 4 pounds. The second week I lost 1 pound. I gained that 1 pound back on the third week. And at the start of the fourth week, I lost 5 pounds by the end of the fourth week. So for my first month, I lost 8 pounds in total, even though going back and forth. The side effects that I experienced was fatigue and constipation. Like it immediately started the day after my shot. I was so tired, I couldn't really function. And I was just constipated immediately. Those were the 2 things that I experienced over the course of the month, even though I lost weight. So at the end of the month, according to my doctor's advice, I went ahead and I went up the dose. Because, of course, at this time, I'm thinking the higher dose means to maximize the weight loss. So I went up to 5.0. All right, from 5.0, I got insomnia. My hunger stayed the same. Ultimately, I did have less food noise, but one of the things I did recognize was my sweet cravings had disappeared. I lost 1 pound on the first week, 0 pounds on the second week, 3 pounds on the third week, and 2 pounds on the fourth week. So on 5.0, I lost a total of 6 pounds. And again, that's giving and taking from subtracting and adding what I gained and lost. So as far as the side effects, the constipation took on a whole new level. It just got even worse. I didn't think it could get worse, but it got worse. And my fatigue was really worse. It was causing me problems even trying to work. I remember doing some of my recap videos and I just talked about how tired I was. Like I was just spent like all day, 24 hours a day on 5.0. It was just terrible, which caused me a lot of brain fog. And I was thinking to myself, how could I lose this weight? By this time, it's 14 to 16 pounds, give or take the pounds that I'm cycling in the stalls that I went through. How could I still be miserable? I didn't really understand that. But I went up, according to my doctor's requirements, to 7.5 because at this time in my mind, more dosage means more weight loss, which so far that hasn't happened. But this time was a charm. So I went ahead and I escalated and went up to a higher dose. Okay, so going into month 3, so week 1, I gained a pound on 7.5. Week 2, I had 0 weight loss. Week 3, I end up losing 4 pounds because I implemented some stuff to try to move past that stall. And week 5, I lost a pound. So moving around, give or take, we call it 5 pounds. But again, I was losing, not losing, gaining it back, and stuck all in the same month on 7.5, which really tripped me out because I thought, of course, if I go up in dose, I'm going to lose more weight. But the first week, basically, I gained a pound, and the second week, I lost nothing. So I was in shock. But I really started to buckle down and do my research and find out what I needed to do. So as far as the food noise, I really didn't have any. I wanted to eat something. I could eat it, I felt like, but I didn't really have a desire to eat a lot. Another thing, I wasn't eating any sweets because before Mounjaro, I would go to bed every day with some ice cream, a cookie or something. That's how I got up to be 198 pounds. But that did help me with my sweet craving. So I really felt good about that. But at the same time, I wasn't doing a lot of stuff right. But this is when the light came on and I started to do things and implement things so that I could break past my plateau. Okay, so during this time, I stayed on 7.5 for 2 months. I was stalled when I was on it. So I went the whole month barely losing anything. And then that's when I kicked into gear. So up until the 4th month was really when I started to focus on my protein, start rehydrating myself, start eating more. I started doing strength training instead of the high intensity aerobics, which was terrible for someone who's over 50. So once I started to incorporate those things, I got back on track, and ideally I started to feel better. So this whole 3 months, I felt miserable. I had fatigue because I wasn't eating enough food. I wasn't eating enough protein. I wasn't really tracking my stuff right. So I implemented everything. I started tracking my food, tracking my calories, tracking my protein, tracking my water. It was more than just looking at the scale at this point. And that's when things really turned around. I started to feel better. I started to lose weight. Ultimately, I did lose every month here and there, but I didn't start to feel better and start really to change dynamically until I started making the changes. So at this point, into month 4, I started physically and mentally feeling better. I finally got myself into gear and I started losing weight again. But because I had talked to my doctor about the stall the previous month, he recommended that I go up in dose to 10. So I went up to 10 starting in month 5. As soon as I took the shot, the very first week, like a brick wall, all of my stuff came back. The fatigue came back. The constipation came back. I had a headache. I was dang near shaking. I was super sick. I lost my appetite completely. I was trying to figure out what was wrong, and I'm going to the doctor and find out that my blood sugar was completely and thoroughly low. I was hypoglycemic. So just that 1 week on 10, I couldn't function. It was so bad that the doctor made the recommendation for me to stop it immediately. And the very next week, I went back to 7.5. All right, so the rest of the month 5, I continued to lose 5 pounds in the first week or so after I switched back. So at that point, I was at my goal weight, which was 155. And then I continued on the rest of the month, losing an additional couple of pounds. So I got down to 147. So my total weight loss through the course of my journey was 50 pounds. Now let me tell you my thoughts. What was the problem? The problem was me. Unfortunately, I was not doing anything right my first almost 4 months on the shots. And then as I kept speaking to my doctor, of course, the solution was to go up in dose. So I followed those instructions and it didn't pay off for me. So one of the big lessons that I learned was that a higher dose doesn't necessarily mean more results. As you can see by my story, I ultimately made it to 10, and 10 was the worst decision I could have made. I worked an entire week, as well as my most weight loss before I made the changes was on 2.5. What ultimately had me feeling better, looking better, losing better was to change the things that I was doing. So what was it? I started prioritizing my protein. I started drinking more water and hydrating myself. I started sleeping more. I started counting my calories. I started eating. If I was not even hungry, I made sure that I had substance. I had to start eating nutrient dense foods. Like I said, I have been on the medicine for over a year, so I had a lot of time to think about what I would do differently. And those are some of the things that I would do differently. Now, after the initial 8 months of reaching my goal weight, I eventually titrated off the medicine. So at month 8, I started going down. So I went from 7.5 to 5.0. The next month, I went to 2.5. And the next month, I got off of the medicine. So I was off the medicine for a total of 1 month. I did not gain any weight, but my A1C did go back up. So I went back on the medicine at 2.5 again. It wasn't high enough. My A1C was still not good. So ultimately, I have been on 5.0 for the last couple of months. I consider myself in maintenance, but one of the things that I was told when I was at my goal weight was that I wasn't really at the weight that I should be, and I still needed to lose an additional 15 pounds. Up until now, I haven't been trying to lose any weight, but at this point, I am going to start focusing on trying to get off that additional 15 pounds. So I'm going to bring you along for the ride. To answer the question that you came for, does the dose really matter, or is there another dose that's better than another? How would I rate those doses? I would give 10 a complete 0. 7.5, rating 1 as being the best, I would use a 3. 5, I will give a 2, and 2.5, I would give a 1. If I had done this journey over, I would stay on 2.5, and I would implement the things that I learned during my journey in order to successfully lose weight faster, to be consistent, and to be healthier throughout. Just to recap, if I were starting my journey today, here are the things that I would do. Number 1 is I would have a more detailed conversation with my doctor before starting. He barely gave me any instructions, gave me this up and sent me on my way. I would ask him more about side effects, about weight loss stalls, things I should be eating, exercise for my age, so many things that I didn't bother to ask, that he didn't bother to tell me. Now that I know those things are important, I would spend more time with my doctor and create a true regimen for myself. Second, I wouldn't automatically assume that going higher would lead to additional weight loss, because for me, it didn't. 3, I would pay attention to how I feel as far as side effects and just an overall feeling of my health. For 3 months, I felt completely bad. Like I was losing weight and I felt bad, but I thought that's the part of the journey that I had to suffer with because it was part of just being side effects. But really it didn't, because ultimately when I learned how to take care of myself, all of those miserable side effects essentially went away and I started feeling better, started feeling healthier, started thinking better. So I wouldn't just take what's given to me. Next time I would do some more research. And last, I would track everything: my food, my calories, my protein, my water intake. I would do strength training, and I would try to do things that would really focus on my mental well-being as well. Taking these shots is a whole body circumference. It's so many different things that are involved. And I thought that I would just take the shot, immediately start losing weight, and my world would change. And that wasn't the case. So now that I know what to do better, I've taken time to share that with you. So where are you in your journey? Have you started to go up in dose? And if you're starting this journey, I have a video here that will tell you where to start. If you found anything in this video entertaining or beneficial for you, do me a favor, like the video, give it a hype, and subscribe to the channel. That will help the algorithm show my information to more people. It's a little thing for you, but it's a big thing for me, and I certainly appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you in the next one.